This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1595, 5 Mindful Practices for Pulling Yourself Out of a Rut by Josie Michelle Davis of josiemichelledavis.com. And I'm Justin Malik. Welcome to Optimal Living Daily, or the OLD podcast, where I read to you from some of the best blogs I can find and get permission from. And I'll keep this intro nice and short for today. So for now, let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. 5 Mindful Practices for Pulling Yourself Out of a Rut by Josie Michelle Davis of josiemichelledavis.com. Ruts are something I am painfully familiar with. Whether it's a creative rut, fitness rut, mood rut, you name it, I've probably struggled to find balance with it time and time again. This past year, I've been really digging in and trying to find things that work for me to help pull me out of a rut, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about those with you all. Let's just start with a quick reminder here that I'm not an expert at pretty much anything. Heck, even my job was something I jumped into and I've just learned from experience. That's who I am, jack of all trades, master of none. So when I give out any advice like this, know that it's coming from my experience and may or may not be the right answer for you. We're all incredibly individual, and while I share these in the hopes that they can help you as much as they've helped me, you need to find your own path. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Being more conscious of how I talk to myself has been a big effort for me this year. After reading Brené Brown's Daring Greatly, I've made an effort to correct myself when I think I'm a bad person, which I so often do, and instead changing that to, I did something bad, but I'm not a bad person. And just that little switch has helped my mindset significantly. Living for years, I've told myself that I'm a terrible person, and guess what? It only made me feel way worse. It drug me right down into the pit of despair. 10 points to anyone who gets that reference. Take a good look at how you're talking to yourself and make a conscious effort to stop and correct yourself when you feel you're going down a negative self-talk track. Telling yourself you're terrible 10 times a day won't fix your problems or make you feel any better. I promise. Pay attention to what you're ingesting. Now, I'm not just talking about what you eat, although it's definitely good to be mindful of that as well, especially when you're not feeling yourself. I'm talking about what movies and TV you watch, music you listen to, books you read, everything you're putting in your brain. I found being mindful of what I'm taking in during times I'm feeling in a funk can make such an impact on how long I feel stuck. Set aside that sad story or movie and find something motivational or inspirational to remind you that things will turn around. It sounds cheesy, but just like you are what you eat, you tend to adapt thought patterns and habits of what you're mentally digesting too. Don't be afraid to seek help. This is still something I'm learning to do, but I think it's incredibly important. Recognizing when you need to reach out to someone you're close with, or even if it's time to grab the phone and make an appointment with a therapist or other professional, is key. Keep yourself open to identifying when you need help and try not to wait until you're deep in the mud to reach out. Be grateful. I used to hear about gratefulness practices and roll my eyes, no joke. It seemed cheesy and felt super uncomfortable, like one of those awkward times when a friend's parents made you go around the dinner table and talk about what you're thankful for. Can we just skip to the food part? But guess what? It really, really, really is important and can make such a difference. Taking time to think and focus in on the good things instead of wallowing permanently on the bad can really help pull you out of a bad spot. If you don't have a gratefulness practice, then it's going to feel super weird the first few times. In fact, you might have literally no idea what to write down, but push through. Even if they may seem silly, starting with simple things like having a place to live or even something as basic as having access to fresh water. Those are all great things to take a second to appreciate. Whether it's committing to make a list in your head first thing when you wake up or taking the time to sit down and write them out during the day, taking inventory of the good can really help you feel more balanced when things feel like they aren't going your way. That's it. They're so simple, but have made a big difference for me this last year and would recommend them to anyone who's been struggling with ruts or just funky moods you may pass through. Let me know if you guys have anything you do that helps you in those times. You just listened to the post titled 5 Mindful Practices for Pulling Yourself Out of a Rut by Josie Michelle Davis of josiemichelledavis.com. And I'll have some comments, but first I'd like to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. It's hard to find a perfect gift for mom. Your mom likes to say that she already has everything she needs, but you'd still like to give her something meaningful to show her that you care. Have you heard about the Skylight Frame? is a touchscreen photo frame you can email photos to anytime and anywhere so mom can see and share in all your favorite moments. I gave a frame to my mom. She's always adding pictures to it, and I get to see them on display whenever I visit. Nowadays, staying in touch with those we love is more important than ever, and the Skylight photo frame is easy to set up. It can be done in under a minute. Simply plug it in, use the touchscreen to connect to your wireless network, and enjoy. By the way, if you don't love your Skylight, they'll offer you a full refund. Now, as a special holiday offer, you can get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/optimal and enter code OPTIMAL. That's right. To get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight frame, just go to skylightframe.com/optimal and enter code OPTIMAL. That's skylightframe.com/optimal. And thank you to Josie. Come by josiemichelledavis.com for a lot more. Changing how you talk to yourself can have a huge impact. It takes a good amount of awareness to catch yourself, though. That takes practice. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. One trick I learned a long time ago is when you're thinking a negative thought about yourself, for example, but really this can be used when you're thinking unhelpful negative thoughts in general. Basically, you say, hey, and you can do that out loud if you're alone or silently in your head, basically catching yourself. Then immediately think of something positive, something good, something you love, something you're grateful for, anything along those lines that reverses that negative energy, and then thank yourself for remembering to do that. Give yourself a little pat on the back, and you're done. It's super simple, but I like that trick personally, so maybe try that out to take this to the next level. I'll leave it there for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here and listening to me, and for being a subscriber to the show. And I'll be back tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.